The blade is swift and horses tread. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, 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 Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. Pravda's way for us to heed, revolutionary dynasty. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, 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 Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. From Babylon to Lenin's fight, the earth has turned, and within might. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, 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 Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. The star is bright, horizon red, the blade is swift and horses tread. Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping, 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 Allah Cosmos Xi Jinping. Pravda's way for us to heed, revolutionary dynasty.
What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? What is going on? It's been a long time. First of all, I'm trying not to get paranoid. You know, I'm trying not to lose my mind. But admittedly, I've started to notice a trend, which is for some reason, right before one of these crazy US interventions happen, I get sick as fuck. Like, I remember in December, in the lead up to the capture of Maduro, I was more sick than I ever felt like in years. I tried testing for like COVID or something, and it like nothing would come up. And then for some reason, just one or a few days after the attack on Iran, I got like sick as a dog. So typically, I should have been live streaming everything from the beginning. I should have hit the live button as soon as everything popped off and just covered everything nonstop. But if you believe me, I have been so fucking sick since Thursday. I've been so sick. Like, so crazy sick. Like, I could not speak at all, right? Extreme fatigue, extreme sickness. And it happens right when the Iran thing happens. I'm not claiming like the government did this or something. I'm just saying it's like such a horrible coincidence. So if you're wondering where I've been and why I've been absent from covering all of this, well, it's because I've been sick. As you maybe could tell from my voice, I'm still a little bit sick, but I've recovered basically, and I'm good to go. But we have a lot to talk about. And I'm not going to sugarcoat what's been happening to you. Jackson is the more optimistic one. I'm the more pessimistic one. And I'm just trying to explain that to you in terms of what you should expect from my coverage. I'm trying to prepare you for the worst. Jackson tries to be realistic. He tries to be honest, and he's pretty good faith. I'm a lot harsher, and I want to prepare us for the worst possible thing. And that's basically what you should expect from this. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not here to give you hopium in terms of foreign nations and U.S. adversaries. I'm not here to delude you like the BRICS slop accounts on X do. You know, I'm here to give you the worst possible outcome and just assume it's already come to pass. And I'm going to explain why I think that is. I'm going to explain why I have absolutely no faith whatsoever that this can end well for Iran. I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I lose nothing if I'm contradicted. All right. This is so cancerous. It's like, I don't give a fuck if someone's following me. First of all.
The mood's in attunement
Amila,
within
thank
the
you.
mood's in attunement within world.
I have follows turned off as well, so I don't know what the fuck the problem is. It's so stupid. Like, what am I dealing with? What the fuck am I dealing with? I don't give a fucking shit if someone follows me. Literally, fuck off. I don't fucking care. But you want to give me some bullshit fucking problem? Alert settings. And how do I shut this the fuck up forever? Shut the fuck up forever and never talk to me ever again. You're gonna fucking... Oh, I already got destroyed on the algorithm because I'm swearing. I don't care. I'm just so disgusted with such a loud, disgusting thing. Just from what? All right. That's that. I don't want to deal with that ever again. And I have it turned off, by the way, so I don't know why I'm being harassed. Amila, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. I'm not in the mood for that. I'm not in the mood for frivolous things. I want to preface this by saying that if I turn out to be wrong, oh, Jackson's here. What's up? Wow, the Jackson people are here. Wow, what's going on, everyone? Just in time. Just in time. There's that Jackson raid. Wow, it's the Jackson security system. Holy fuck, this is the first time I've seen Jackson's chat be so fast. Holy fuck. Wow, guys, this is a lot of people. Wow, you guys are active. You got a lot of energy. I like this energy. I like this energy you guys are bringing. I like it. Usually y'all are a little shy in the chat. I like the energy. Let's get the Z's in the chat. And Jackson needs his own emote. He needs an emote with an army hat on, an army helmet on. The Z. If you're a Jackson, if you're coming from Jackson, you get the Z's in the chat. If you're from the Jackson Army, what's up? What's going on, y'all?
Based.
Amila, what's up?
President Hinkle.
Appreciate you. So, guys, if you're new to the stream, Jackson's done a great job of covering what's going on right now, live. News is not exactly my forte, so I'm here to talk to you about what you already know about what's going on in terms of the news, what Jackson's already covered. I'm here to help clarify where we go from here. What conclusion should we draw from all of it? Because I want to be brutally realistic. And, you know, Jackson tends to be more optimistic. Well, I wouldn't say he's more optimistic. I would just say he's less pessimistic than I am, at the very least. And I'm not here to black pill and destroy hope. But, yo, Jennifer, what's up? Appreciate you.
Jackson in the house.
Euphoria, thank you so much.
Based.
WACPW.
But I am here for some hard truths, okay? Some hard truths. So I don't know if you guys remember me on Jackson's stream a week or so ago. I actually got it wrong a little bit. I predicted, or I didn't predict, I just leaned on that this would not happen, that the intervention wouldn't happen. But here's the bad part. What I said was, if it does happen, the Americans and Israelis are going to shoot to kill for a surgical strike that will have a 100% success rate in terms of the immediate goal, and they're not going to risk fucking that up.
Norway 2036 added 5 to the war chest a la Cosmos
Rubel,
11.
what's up? Norway, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. So I said, and I was very pessimistic in my assessment, I said there's going to be traitors within the Iranian government or close to the Iranian ruling circles, and that they're not going to take risks, and that this is the new precedent, and that if there's an intervention, they're not going to take a risk. I would say that is partially correct, what I said, given the fact that, and it's with a very heavy heart that I am saying this live for the first time, because I still really am processing it, and it's kind of hard to believe. I'm very desensitized at this point that Sayyid Khamenei has passed. He was murdered. He was killed. Martyred. And that's significant. And some say, well, look, it doesn't matter. You know, there's going to be another who takes his place, and the fighting will keep going. I hope. I absolutely hope. I can't say I know who's going to come next. I can't say I know with certainty anything at this point. I can't say I know for a fact that, you know, everything is going to be okay in that sense. And I'm not here to be depressing because I have a conclusion I would like to draw from this. But before I do, I want us to kind of take inventory of where we're at right now. I want us to reel it in a little bit and be soberly, brutally realistic. Peter, what's up? Okay, I come from the milieu about 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever you want to call it, where we had a lot of hope about the rise of a multipolar world. The U.S. empire is on the decline. Trump 1.0 was a signal that the U.S. was becoming an unserious country. De-dollarization was happening at a rapid pace around the world. BRICS was starting to be more assertive about alternative visions of economic development. The big story, of course, was that China was on the rise and still is on the rise, replacing the U.S. as an economic power in the world. And, of course, from there, I mean, Russia, since 2014, after it took Crimea, was increasingly assertive and independent. And this culminates in the SMO in 2022. And many of us had the view that the U.S. empire is on its way out. And this is the rise of a multipolar world. And that the countries, Iran, Russia, China, and others, represent the future of humanity, the leadership of the future of humanity. And that basically what we're witnessing is a transition into a post-U.S. world order. And we need to take inventory of whether or not that assessment was realistic. And why maybe it turned out to be the contrary of what we expected it to be. So first of all, the Russian SMO is still ongoing. I will humbly admit that in 2022, if you would have asked me in February 2022, if I would have thought the Russian SMO was still going to be ongoing as of March 1st, 2026, 4 full years later, I would have called you crazy. It was a no-brainer. This is Russia. I mean, admittedly, Russia's going up against all of NATO, and the war has changed. It's a completely different war than what it was when it began. I'm aware of that. I know. I'm not claiming. I'm not blaming anyone and pointing fingers, by the way.
Beast.
A beast is most dangerous when it's dying.
That's absolutely true. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. That's absolutely true. Okay. I would strongly reaffirm and reiterate that very strongly. But to elaborate more, and I know this is kind of, you're here for Iran. Trust me, we're getting there. Okay, this whole thing is about Iran, so don't worry. This is about Iran. Then, you know, we basically had, after the SMO, we had October 7th. And many of us thought that this was going to only escalate into a world war. Which, I mean, it has yet to be said, but 3 years later, okay, we're 3 years or two and a half, depending on how you look at it, after October 7th. I think the first realization that I had that something was terribly, terribly wrong, the real shock to me, I'm sure for some it was Sinwar, but really for me, I will never forget it when it was. I was in Russia at the time. Actually, it was me and Jackson were in the backseat of a car. We were driving from Nizhny Novgorod. We had just met and were interviewed by a famous Russian author in Nizhny Novgorod. And I looked at my phone and I saw that Sayyid Nasrallah was martyred. He was killed. I couldn't believe that. That rocked my world. I mean, I really couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I could never imagine something like that could happen. And it did. And, you know, later that year, Syria is gone. Overnight, without a single shot being fired. Syria's gone. And then, okay, at that point, something is wrong. Something is terribly, terribly wrong. And, you know, from then on, it's just, I've had a lot of time to think since Syria, to be honest. So much time to think that by the time, another kind of surprise, the U.S. just kidnapped and took Maduro in the middle of the night, it wasn't that shocking to me at that point. But what's the source of all of this? Is it just is America really so powerful that it can just do this? And this is the omniscient, omnipotent power of the US and Israel and the unipolar world order? I think the truth is actually much more devastating. And I want to be brutally and brutally frank about this and not beat around the bush, actually. I don't think that Israel was able to kill Nasrallah because Israel's so advanced and powerful. The pager thing that they pulled off, yeah, that took a lot of planning and sophistication, whatever, but let's put our thinking caps on. How did Israel know where Nasrallah was? How did they know where the top leaders of Hamas were when they visited Iran? Well, we're dealing with some serious betrayal. How was Syria taken in the dead of night without barely a shot fired after what, a decade of civil war over precisely preventing that outcome? You mean to tell me that this is because what? Jolani was so powerful and tough and no. Some serious betrayal, okay, was responsible for why Syria ended up the way it was. Betrayal. Let me go further. I don't want to point fingers and play blame games, but am I really supposed to believe that certain business interests in Russia have no involvement whatsoever in the sabotage of the SMO since it started in February 22? Well, I've talked to a lot of people, and it's really hard to avoid that conclusion. And I say that very frankly, without elaborating. And so many people had theories about what happened in Venezuela. Oh, they used the discombobulator. Oh, the what? Well, the Venezuelan government, I mean, they had no choice, you know? Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break that you had no choice. That's not how the world fucking works. You defend your motherland, you defend your country, no matter the cost. 30 million people died in the Soviet Union resisting the Nazi invaders. Imagine if the Soviet government gave in and caved to the Nazis because they wanted to prevent a loss of life. No, you fight to the bitter end to defend your sovereignty, to defend your homeland. This is what it means to have sovereignty. This is what it means to have a devotion to motherland, a devotion to your country and to your people and to your cause that at the very least and at the bare minimum exceeds the devotion that you have to money and Dubai chocolate and Labubus. You fight. Oh, well, there's no chance they could. Really? There's no chance that there could have been a fight in Venezuela? Give me a break. You heard it from Maduro himself. They were going to turn it into Vietnam. People say, well, if fighting is ugly and fighting is bad. Have we forgotten the price and the cost of liberty and freedom? You think that it's free to be a dignified human being in this world? Well, it's unreasonable. Why don't... It's like, what is going on here? Well, let's be frank, okay? I wasn't certain myself. I'll just be honest. I wasn't certain myself. I wasn't absolutely certain what happened in Venezuela until I saw a statement from the Venezuelan government condemning Iran. Oh, did America force the Venezuelan government to write up that fucking statement too? Really? Yeah, the Venezuelan government, who has had no bigger friend in its history than the Islamic Republic, put out a memo, put out some kind of statement denouncing the Islamic Republic for its defensive retaliation against American and Israeli Zionist aggression. Yeah, Delcy is a fucking traitor. And the people in power in Venezuela are traitors. And it's absolutely crystal clear to me that they sold Maduro out. It's not the discombobulator. It's not that, oh, Trump had this crazy, America's so powerful and mighty. Oh, Trump is so powerful and mighty. No, there's a big problem going on in the camp of what we call the revolutionary forces in the world. And that problem is betrayal. Finally, it brings us to Sayyid Khamenei. Where did Israel and the CIA and the Mossad, where did they get the intelligence to know? Two things. Where did they get the intelligence to know that there was going to be a meeting of senior Iranian officials in one place at one time for them to have this precision surgical strike against Sayyid Khamenei? Second of all, how did they get immediate confirmation that he was dead as per the discovery of his body from the rubble? How did they get that information? Well, I think you could say with 100% certainty, betrayal. And so, I'm not here to be a doomer and tell you that the unipolar empire is invincible. Actually, the unipolar empire has never been weaker at any point in its history than right now. But you want to know what's even weaker than the unipolar empire right now? The morale, the belief, and the conviction of the generation of people that rule many of the anti-imperialist countries in the world today, that are supposed to be leading the multipolar world. This is a jaded, older generation of people who come from Gen X, who are losing rapidly, if they haven't lost it already, moral authority, moral conviction, genuine revolutionary belief that the future is theirs, not just the past, but the future, that they have a vision for the future that is compelling, that is legitimate, that is aligned with the possibility of actually coming to be. They're cynical. They're cynical. And how did this happen? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. All of the incorruptibles are gone. Maduro was taken. I don't think Maduro was corrupt. He was taken, though. Qasem Soleimani, the incorruptible, is dead. Sayyid Nasrallah, the incorruptible, is dead. Sinwar, the incorruptible, is dead. Raisi seemed like a pretty stand-up guy. He's dead. Finally, Sayyid Khamenei, who was incorruptible, is dead. So these individuals who were incorruptible turned out to be a minority in their governments, in their organizations, and they were killed, and it was that easy. It sufficed for them to simply be killed. It's not that America and Israel are so powerful, and there's no way to resist them, and that it's over for anyone who would ever deign to resist them. The Soviet Union was a superpower with nuclear weapons. Why is it gone? Did it have to dissolve? Was that necessary? No, it was traitors who ruled at the very reins of power at the very top, betrayed and destroyed the Soviet Union because they wanted the Western way of life. Betrayal. If I'm a tanky, right? I think many of you are tankies. I won't put a label on you, But I think most of you at least sympathize with the freedom-loving people of the world who are trying to resist this disgusting Epstein empire. The problem we're facing isn't that this empire is too powerful. The problem we're facing is that the conviction and morale among our ranks is too weak, at least among its leaders. And I'm not here to simply play the blame game and blame individual immorality for this, because I think there's actually a reason why this is the case, specifically in the era that we live in now. And what I'll say, in terms of what I think and what I suspect very strongly for why that is is that something very, very specific, I think the breaking point, the metabolic rift that fundamentally changed the world. It changed the coordinates upon which it's possible to articulate a revolutionary position. It changed the coordinates of meaningfulness, of what does it actually mean to stand for something more than money, more than popularity, more than fame, more than these superficial things that the current generations that live in the world today live and die for, really, it seems like. People are like smashing their faces with hammers. Like, this is what people live for now, right? But what displaced, why is it that in the 1900s, whether it's the Bolsheviks, Khomeini, 1979, the resistance in Lebanon, I don't know if I can name them, in the 1990s, what changed that this heroism has suddenly just become impossible? And before people say that it's that people are too comfortable and unwilling to take drastic actions to endanger their lives, I disagree, because never before have we seen such reckless suicidal violence. It suffices to name, I don't know if I can name them, the IS people, okay, and these crazy suicidal cults that are propping up all over the internet. It's like there are so many different examples of people throwing their lives away for nothing. So I don't think it's simply that people are too afraid to risk their lives and are too unwilling to take risks. I think there's something deeper and more fundamental that happened. And I think the place to look and start is in the 2010s, and it's going to sound like a cliche, but it's really true. It's the rise of social media. It's fundamentally changed everything about the nature of communication, about the nature of language, meaningfulness, how we articulate meaningfulness, the sources of authority that we have. We're not looking to institutions anymore as the sacred sources of authority, where this is an example. You're not fucking watching CNN right now. You're not listening to some academic. You're not listening to the government right now. You're listening to a crazy Arab guy in Michigan who's streaming to YouTube right now. And if you're new here, okay, this is a fucking army. This is the infrared army. I'll just say Gorillas and Sons in the chat. This is a fucking army, okay? This is a type of authority that just hasn't existed in the old world. And this is what's new. This is what didn't exist before. It's this new way that we articulate our very existence, the very meaning of life. It's all just become something uploaded to the cloud or something like that. It's like it's no longer based on tangible interactions between human beings. It's no longer based on the authority of clerics, the authority of existing political parties and organizations, states, you name it. And that is our reality. And it starts, I'm not reducing it to that, but I'm saying it starts. You have to look at social media. And the information age more generally has just fundamentally changed everything. You guys could stop at the gorillas. I just wanted to make a point, But it's fundamentally changed everything. And if revolutionaries of the past generation have not passed the torch, so to speak, they haven't articulated their revolutionary conviction and devotion to the cause, their morale, the thing that compels them and guides them. They haven't properly translated that into the format of communication and language and culture that the current generation lives and dies by. And that, I think, and it seems trivial, but it's just the truth. That's the issue. There's such a disconnect between the older generation and the new generation. The older generation may have been heroes in the 1900s and in the 20th century, But it seems like in this day and age, they have two paths. They either get killed, or, it's like you die a hero or you live long enough to become corrupt. And so many of them are becoming corrupt. They're looking at this crazy new, brave new world that we're living in, and they're making a choice. Hey, the U.S. is offering you $50 million. That's an eternity of prosperity for you, your kids. They're going to get sent to the best colleges to offer. You're going to get premium medical care. You're going to live in a mansion. You're going to have Netflix, Labubus, Dubai chocolate. You'll go to visit Dubai and have a yacht. You'll live the high life. You'll make it. It's the end of GTA. You're going to make it. Or, continue this revolutionary cause and conviction that doesn't even seem to make sense in the world that we live in, hasn't even been translated into the language and into the terms of the world we live in, and which is increasingly outdated by civilization and culture, at least in form. Emphasis on inform. Okay? Many of these people are incorruptible. The incorruptible people simply said, I don't care if it doesn't make sense in terms of the culture we have and stuff. Like, Qasem Soleimani didn't give a fuck about being popular on TikTok or Twitter or social media. It sufficed for him that he just had this memory of the Islamic Revolution. He had the memory of his experiences, and he clung to them. And it made him a knight, okay? It made him a moral warrior. But he was killed. Has there been a next Soleimani? No. Nobody's replaced him. Nobody can replace that. The same with Sayyid Nasrallah. Can anyone replace Sayyid Nasrallah? No, never. Because while Sayyid Nasrallah may have not been on TikTok, he may not have been on, winning the meme wars or whatever, his memory of fighting, literally fighting a guerrilla war against the Israeli invaders and occupiers. That's what kept him going and made him incorruptible. And that's heroic, and they'll live immortal. Immortal. Generations and generations will remember these people, including Sayyid Khamenei, as heroes and as martyrs who never sold out. And before I continue, I want to reiterate something about Sayyid Khamenei. Why did he die? Every opportunity was given to him to sell out, by the way. Every opportunity. And we don't even know the full breadth of what was offered to him. You guarantee they were going to offer him unlimited money, immunity, for him and his descendants and his extended family. Of course, him and everyone, all the other senior officials are being handed this deal. They were going to live in such extravagance and they were being handed the world by Trump. All they had to do is relinquish the sovereignty of Iran as a nation. All they had to do was commit to not further enriching uranium. All they had to do was pay the tithe in that form to the American empire. And Sayyid Khamenei said no. He said no. And he didn't hide in a bunker. He didn't flee underground somewhere. He continued living his life as normal, knowing full well the possibility that, he could just one day be killed. He was 86 years old. And 86-year-old men like that, I think, welcome the possibility of being martyred versus dying of old age. But that's what happened to him. He was martyred. And he was martyred because he wouldn't sell out and he wouldn't give in. So this generation of heroes have thus far carried everything on their shoulders. And we commend them, and they'll live forever in our hearts. But, and this is very important, It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And in the interests of victory, in the interests of seeing through, and let's call this what it is, this world revolution against the Epstein Empire, it's no longer sustainable that everything rests upon these incorruptible old heroes surrounded by traitors and villains. Xi Jinping, I think, is incorruptible. But didn't he just purge some of the top-ranking figures in the PLA? That's not a good sign that there's traitors that up high. So this is a crisis. This is a crisis. And the crisis in question is the following. The revolutionary spark and the revolutionary flame, under the guidance and inspiration of which generations were made into heroes, has been lost. It needs to be articulated again. We need to rediscover through the medium that we're existing in now, which is this one, which is a fundamentally new era and a new age. We need to articulate that spark and that flame that gives people a sense of purpose more fundamental than money and self-gain. And all of the LARPers of the old era, all these arrogant gatekeepers of the old era who snubbed their nose at our movement, claiming, oh, no, you can't do this, you're unserious, yada, yada, yada. I'm sorry, but you've been fully discredited. And your way doesn't work, and that's been proven. And it's time to step aside and let us take things from here. The new generation, the youth of the world, the people that were born in this new civilization and this fundamentally new culture, this new language, this new global society, which represents a fundamental metabolic rift with everything in the past. And I'm not saying we can annihilate the past, but to bring it over into the present, we have to translate everything from scratch. We can no longer depend on the inertia of dead institutions, of dead conventions, dead habits, dead prejudices. We need to embrace fully the era that we live in. And only out of this era can the heroism of the past be reborn, which it needs to desperately because it's dying. Heroism, moral authority, principle, all these things are dying as they give way to a world of nihilism and depravity, where people just don't fucking believe in anything anymore, except the bag of Cheetos that's in front of them. They believe in video games and anime and Netflix and stupid shit. And stupid fucking looks-maxing bullshit. This is what people live their lives for now. There's no sense of devotion to a cause. And I'm not blaming people for being too cowardly. I genuinely think people don't even understand how that could be possible anymore. And so this is my introduction to you of what infrared was meant to be from the very beginning. So many people confused infrared with, oh, we're just the cheerleaders of multipolarity. No, that's not what this was about. This was about giving the multipolar world the moral authority and clarity it so desperately needed. Making sense of it. Uniting the threads that really do unite Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, Venezuela, the insurgent populist phenomena, even in the Western world, the anti-Epstein uprising. It's all interconnected and united with the revolutionary history of mankind, and it's one thing. And nobody has unified this. Nobody has articulated a narrative that brings it all together. And this was the purpose of infrared from the beginning. If I thought we could just speculate like these BRICS idiots and crypto scammers, we just speculate on things that are going to happen, I wouldn't have started this. Okay, we're just going to, oh yeah, don't worry guys, Russia and China are going to save everything and everything's going to be fine. It's like, if I thought that, I wouldn't even bother turning on the live button. I did this shit because I thought it was necessary. Because I see a generation of people, not just in the country that I live in, by the way, but the entire world, who are fucking lost and desperately need guidance. They need a way to make sense of their place in the world that we live in now. And how do we draw purpose and meaningfulness from that? You know, I've been to a lot of countries, and you know what I could tell you? It doesn't matter how heroic the country is. I've never visited the DPRK or Iran for that matter, but I visited a lot of countries, and I'll tell you something. The people that are my demographic, my age demographic, and even Iraq, it doesn't matter what the country is, they're the same. There's nothing more like, there's nothing about poverty and war that makes people like, I don't know, somehow become like these cartoon characters who are just like, I don't know, Batman or some shit. No, they're just like us. They're on TikTok, they're doom scrolling, they're sharing memes, they're making memes. It's like the same shit. They have the same nihilism that we do. They have the same lack of purpose. They have the same confusion. They have the same degeneracy. Everything that American young people have. It's the same everywhere in the world. Brain rot, a confusion, discombobulation. I mean, that's the real discombobulator. Trump talked about a discombobulator, and that's how he was able to take Venezuela. Well, look, I have some harsh truths for you. The real discombobulator has been the information age itself. Social media and the rise of just like it's not just people say it's social media, it's a new type of socialization. This is a new type of humanity. This is just a new type of way we are becoming human. We are being individuated. We're acquiring a sense of identity. We're acquiring a sense of selfhood. We're articulating our place in the world in relation to others. How we're no longer raised by our parents. We're raised by... I'm not moralizing about this and complaining. I'm just giving you the objective reality. Our sense of culture and civilization is no longer derivative of institutions and conventions that just exist within society. And this is very serious. I want us to take inventory of where we're at right now and be brutally realistic and sober about it. We're living in an age of unlimited total mass surveillance, absolute cybernetic control of society, where mass psychological manipulation has just become like, it's become a extremely efficient technology, even when there's total free speech, like there is on X. We live in an age of big tech, where a handful of tech companies pretty much control and own everything about everything that matters to us, apparently. And finally, AI, okay? Which a lot of people don't understand in terms of how much that is leading to just a world of seemingly total control. And on top of that, an era of unmanned warfare, like the one we're seeing in Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine war. And I'm not saying all hope is lost, but you want to know what is insurmountable, what no machine can surmount, what really will be the declaration of resistance and independence of humanity from this beast system? The rediscovery of purpose, a purpose more fundamental than the immediate desires that are being thrusted upon you by the algorithm. You know, this new term, gooning, it's funny, but it's sad, actually. It's like this, there's literally, this generation is genuinely like porn addicted. It's not like a joke, like, oh, it's hyperbolic. Like, no, they genuinely are being controlled by these algorithms and can't control themselves. Like, psychologically being rewired. And it's everyone in the world. It's not just in the West. Oh, the degenerate West. No, I've been to China. It's China too. I've been to Russia. It's Russia too. It's the whole fucking world. Okay? And yes, it's Iran as well. And people are trying to get rich quick through NFT or crypto scams or stupid shit like that. It's like everywhere in the world is the same. And, you know, this is the battle. This is the conflict that we're facing right now. I thank God every day for the infrared cult, you know, that we've cultivated here. Because somehow we've created a community and a movement of people who have managed to discover a purpose that allows them to transcend this psychological prison that's being thrusted upon the majority of humanity right now. And I think about the party that I'm in. You're a cult leader. You're just plugging some fucking scam. I know how most people think about things like this, but let me just tell you earnestly that the American Communist Party is a party of people who are all burning cash out of their pockets, including me, and throwing it into this party machine. Why? What do they gain out of that? We've created a party it's the first time I see this anywhere in the fucking world, where people are genuinely, selflessly devoted to something more than money, more than cheap self-gain, more than superficial popularity. People believe in this shit. It's real belief. And you have to see it to believe it. Maybe you'll get fucking scared and say it's a cult. I don't care. It's real. And to me, it's a fucking miracle. I've seen my people in person. I've met them in person. I see the look on their face of genuine and sincere belief. That is so rare and precious in this world. And I have to confess something. I know many of you who are watching now have seen the news and the recent events in Iran, the passing of Khamenei, Venezuela, other things, and you despair. But it hasn't even occurred to me once to take a black pill. It hasn't occurred to me once to have this doomeristic feeling of despair. Why? Because the story I'm part of, the story of the American Communist Party, it hasn't even started being written yet. And that fucking story, honestly, there's nothing that can happen in the world that's going to deter me from my conviction and faith that this is going to become something great. That this is going to become something that changes history. I know that. Every breath that I take is a wager upon the fact that that is true. I stand in full solidarity with Iran, Russia, China, you name it. But where's my heart in terms of what I believe in unconditionally? What I know with certainty is going to change the world, or at least have a part in the way that the world changes? It's the American Communist Party. And you might think I'm crazy for saying that. But the difference between the American Communist Party and everything else going on in the world today is that we're creating a new type of human being that is devoted to a cause for the first time in a long time. That's so fucking rare. Genuine devotion to a cause. Every other fucking movement is promising that you're going to get rich, that you're going to become, you're going to get a great job, you're going to become a superior, whatever, race, something like that. They're selling people on something that they're going to just gain from individually immediately. My people, the army that I'm in, they're in it for the love of the story, the future. They want to be part of it. And it's like, I don't see that anywhere else. I really don't. I've been a lot of places. It's so rare to see that. Like, they're not here because they think that personally they're going to benefit in some way. They believe in this shit. I believe in this shit. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Of course, around the world, all sorts of movements and countries have people that believe in stuff. But do they really believe? Do they really believe in the era that we live in? Have they articulated that belief in the language of the era that we live in? Have they proven it and tested it in the fucking fires of brain rot itself? Motherfucker, no. We've done that. We've survived the skibbity. Do you fucking understand me? Like, our shit it's not just LARP. It's not just LARP. It's not a performance. It's worthy of the culture and the type of civilization we live in. You know, and I can't relate to you if you're despairing right now. I just can't. I'm just going to be I'm trying. I understand. I can't relate to you if you're despairing. I can't. I want to get that out of the way before I continue on, because I can't relate to you if you're in despair right now. I straight up can't. And even if ACP somehow gets temporarily wiped out or whatever, it's like, I know that shit is going to come back. It's going to keep on coming back over and over again. You know, this cause and this movement started with torches and pitchforks, with nothing. And it got snuffed out right away, like that. But then it came back. Maybe it had muskets the second time, and it lasted a little longer. And this kept happening over and over again. And when is it going to stop? Never. Never. Until victory, that's when. And that's how you know something reflects the will of heaven itself. Like, genuinely reflects the nature of the cosmos itself. There's a gravitational force within history pulling it in a specific direction. And it's irresistible. It can never be defeated fully and finally. So is it over for Iran and the Islamic Revolution and that lineage? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Everything worthwhile about that revolutionary lineage in Iran will be reborn in a way even more advanced and sophisticated and powerful than before. And I want to be like absolutely clear about this in terms of what I'm actually trying to say here. You know, I can't tell you exactly what's happening in the war between Iran, Israel, and America right now. But I'm going to drop a bomb on you that I hope I'm wrong about. And I lose nothing by being wrong about, by the way. As in, if I'm wrong about this, I will be so happy if I'm wrong. Where I'm sitting, I don't see this ending well for Iran. I think Jackson disagrees with me about that heavy. You know, and I can't say with certainty that he's wrong and I'm right. I'm just going to like tell you how I feel, basically, like what I'm leaning on. I don't see this ending well for Iran. I don't. Iran is up against all of the Gulf states, doesn't have a mutual defense pact with a strategically decisive country. There are so many incentives within the Iranian leadership to sell out. There's this minority, but nonetheless a sizable minority internally of this middle class that is just outright fucking traitors. You know, the footage you're seeing of them dancing and shit, it's just like this tiny minority, but nonetheless they exist. And there's so many incentives right now to just sell out and give up. And there's so much that Iran is up against right now. And the axis of resistance is decapitated, and most crucially and importantly, Syria's out of the picture. The only way this can end is if America and Israel give up. I mean, there's multiple ways it can end. One is if they give up and allow Iran to continue enriching uranium. Not going to happen. I'm just telling you, America and Israel, I can't see them do. If they do that, I'll fucking be so happy. Maybe that can happen, but I find it so hard to believe. Or Iran sells out like Venezuela. Or, you know, there's genuinely a regime change and there's a huge power vacuum and shit just goes sideways. That's also possible. I don't know if Jackson's been showing you this, but strangely, Afghanistan under the Taliban, supposedly it's become kind of like an Indian proxy and puppet. And Afghanistan has been clashing with Pakistan because of that. And senior Taliban leaders, some of them supposedly are engaging in some pretty fiery rhetoric against Iran. Iran has a very sizable Afghan refugee population. Keep that in mind. And, you know, Jackson was telling me, it's like, well, America and Israel can't do a land invasion of Iran. How is there going to be a land invasion of Iran? Well, imagine if something comes from Afghanistan, you know? So I'm not writing off the third scenario by any means. I just don't see this ending well for Iran. I don't. I'm not optimistic at all. I'm just telling you the truth about what I think. I've seen so many like positive reports. I mean, I remember the 10-day war. I remember all these things that have happened. I mean, look, I'm hearing reports that Trump genuinely thought that a surgical decapitation would lead to a popular uprising within Iran, and that would be the end of it. I think that's what he thought. That's what I said on Jackson's Stream. Like, Trump's not going to do this while taking risks. He's going to do it only with the certainty that he's going to win, right? Well, they took out Khamenei, and the fighting hasn't stopped. So it's very genuinely possible that Israel and America are panicking right now. Like, what the fuck? We didn't think this was going to happen. We didn't think it would continue. So what Trump has said is that this is going to take maximum 4 weeks. I want everyone to instill that into their mind and into their brain. What Trump said is that this is going to take 4 weeks because Iran is big and it's difficult to deal with. So if in 4 weeks Trump has not accomplished his goal, I would say that's a victory for Iran in my book. And that's the criterion of how I would decide or judge the outcome of the war. If Trump in 4 weeks has not accomplished his goal, which is to prevent Iran from enriching its uranium, that's ultimately the real goal here. In terms of like getting them to commit that they're never going to further enrich their uranium, if he fails in 4 weeks, Trump lost. It was an L for Trump and an L for America. I think everyone should temper their expectations if they expect that this is somehow going to lead to Iran destroying Israel. How? How? Without a nuclear weapon, without a land invasion, how's that going to happen? Or is it going to lead to, honestly, guys, it's really not looking good. It's like not looking good as far as the possible outcomes. The best we could hope for is that it lasts longer than 4 weeks. If it lasts longer than 4 weeks, if the Iranians can just hold out for longer than 4 weeks and fucking tell the entire world that Trump fucked it up, that's going to be the beginning of the most important milestone of the loss of morale on the side of the U.S. empire. And if this can last for a long time, I'm talking about for months and months and months, you're going to have an exhaustion effect take in. And the Israelis, the fat-ass Gulf Arabs, and America are going to get fucking tired. Especially the Israelis and fat-ass Emiratis and Kuwaitis, the fat Kuwaitis running around, the obese Kuwaitis. They're going to get tired of constantly, getting attacked by drones and bombed and living in fear for months, and they're going to force an end to it. Especially the Israelis. If Iran can keep doing this longer than 4 weeks, it has a chance. That's my criterion of the hope Iran has. Keep holding and hold out. I don't know why people thought Russia would tap in. Social media is like mocking Russia. Oh, Russia's not doing anything. Well, when has Russia committed to a defense pact with Iran? When has China committed to a defense pact? Of course, Russia and China won't do anything. People need to stop seeing Russia and China as like the Communist International. No, they're not. They and you know what? It's sad. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but Russia and China exist in the world viewing themselves as just another country. Oh, well, I'm just a country in the UN. Don't look at me. And it's like, that's how that, because there's been no agreement. There's been no understanding established that there is going to be a leader of a new order, of the revolution against, there's not even, things are so dire that there is no official established doctrine that exists in Russia or China for a revolution against the unipolar world order. Meaning they still very naively, at least publicly and officially, believe in the UN, believe in the framework of the world order that was agreed upon after World War II. They genuinely think that. BRICS is a fucking nothing, by the way. I don't even want to hear that word. But they don't have any framework for an alternative world order at all. There are two sides in this debate. Some people are saying, oh, Russia and China are cowards. They're doing nothing. They need to be like America, interventionist. And then there's the other side of people who are like, no, Russia and China are so wise. They know what they're doing. Oh, just trust the plan, trust the plan. I'm kind of against both of those positions, and I'll lay out my position very clearly. There needs to be an alternative and brand new framework of the world order we live in. Neither Russia and China are to a sufficient degree of seriousness or aggressiveness, at least officially, entertaining that. They are still continuing to treat themselves as just another country at the UN, and every time the US basically fucks the world, because that's basically what it's doing, and violates all rules, they will issue a statement saying that this has violated the UN and it's violated international law. Big deal. It's violated international law because that's the framework within which they articulate their position in the world. Now, admittedly, okay, I'm not saying they're immoral for that, because they are pretty honorably to a T following these rules. Even Russia, in respect to the SMO, has a pretty strong legalistic argument justifying why it did that. But at the end of the day, they don't have actually a vision of a multipolar world. Believe it or not, multipolarity is not like some official doctrine within Russia or China. They are pretty much kind of just like, oh, America, that's so bad of you that you did that again. So bad. And they're just kind of like sitting there pretending like it's not going to happen to them tomorrow, right? I'm not saying they should be moral crusaders and interventionists. I'm just saying there is an attitude and atmosphere of complacency that exists in all maybe besides the DPRK, I don't know, which I think is not sustainable. Something's going to have to give and change. I'm not saying they have to be these moral crusaders that have to be third worldist heroes and adventurous. What I'm saying is they are not treating international relations in a realistic way. They're treating international relations legalistically, formally, by the book, even though they don't even exist anymore and don't apply anymore. So, what does that mean? Nobody's going to save Iran. Nobody's going to come to Iran's rescue. And I'm not claiming I'm blaming Russia and China for that. I'm not saying that's because they're cowardly. I'm saying that the framework for that kind of alliance doesn't even exist. It should exist, but who's going to lead the charge? Think about it. Who's going to lead the charge? The CIA has everybody fucked up. Because in China, let me actually spill some tea about what's going on in these countries. Not that I have insider info. I'm just like telling you what a lot of people overlook. What the CIA does in China is they prop up this Shanghai clique of libtards who basically say, no, we're not going to go toward Russia. No, Iran is bad. Europe and Canada. Oh, yeah. So China's bogged down in this like internal battle. And of course, the Shanghai libtard clique will articulate its position in terms of China's self-interest and national interest, but it will foment hostility toward closer relations with Russia and Iran. Inside Russia, it's the exact same story. You have both from the typical, libtards who are kind of been marginalized, but the Russian right wing, the right wing LARPing pieces of shit in Russia who are, the petty nationalists, the far right in Russia. Trump, yes. Oh, China, no, China, no. China is bad. And they'll take every fucking opportunity to shit on China and Iran, disguising themselves in the language of Russian patriotism and Russian national interest to isolate Russia from them. And then in Iran, it's the same story. Raisi was pretty on board with an alliance, a Sino-Russian alliance. But then the reformists come in. No, China is trying to fuck Iran over. No, we have to stay away from China. No, let's be suspicious of Russia. Remember when Russia invaded us? We have to be suspicious of Russia. So every single one of these countries that are targeted by U.S. imperialism, every single one of them are infiltrated by CIA agents who have this full-time job of preventing a Eurasian military, economic, whatever you want to call it, alliance. It's tragic and it's fucked up, but this is the truth. The CIA has them in a chokehold. And that's why they're sitting around treating themselves as passive members of the international community rather than proactively putting in unconditional work to create the Eurasian superbloc so desperately needed for the sake of preserving the freedom, independence, dignity, and prosperity of the people in the world. Pains me to talk about this and say this, but I'm here to keep it with 100 with you, right? infiltration of countries opposed to the US is so underestimated. And it's not that this is going to make multipolarity impossible. It's already a reality. It's not that unipolarity is invincible. It's that rooting out CIA psyops that caused the destruction of nations starts with being just 1% a little bit more skeptical of how social media is affecting your fucking brain. The looks maxing bullshit, it's a fucking psyop, okay? When you're on X and you see these disgusting, filthy scum post a picture of the fucking czar and his family and go, the Jewish Bolsheviks killed the czar. That's a CIA psyop to ingratiate your fucking subconscious with a visceral anti-communism that will make you cattle and make you a slave. You know, I made a tweet, a post, and I used a phrase. It was the Epstein Empire. And then one of Nick Fuentes' disgusting, degenerate anime, I can't even say these words on YouTube, but they are a filthy, disgusting degenerate, replied, and they said, just say Jewish Empire. And then something dawned in my head like a light bulb. In 2023, all this stuff, why was I so skeptical of the Nick Fuentes and Sneeko? All the Jew, the whole like Jew shit. It was because I was sensitive and like scared of, no, it's just like, there was something so off about it because it was so abstract. It's like, okay, Jew. Well, what do you mean by Jew? Like, okay, like what? Just like the religion? Like what? And then if you start saying, well, no, I mean by this Epstein. Oh, I mean by this Zionism. I mean this specific, maybe Rothschild, like this specific form of power that you can name. They'd always be like, name the Jew. It's like, yes, name them. Fucking name them. Right? Concretely, not as an abstraction. They would never do that. And then it got revealed that the abstract JQ Jewing, whatever you want to call it, which came from 4chan, was created by Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein created that entire, I mean, like, that was part of the plan by these Epstein Zionists, concrete Jewish power. It was part of their plan that the enemy of social media discourse would be made this abstract eternal Jew that doesn't even have a face, instead of the actual people in power that have names and faces and structures and power. And it's like the Nick Fuentes community is a psyop because their enemy is a metaphysical abstraction. Their eternal Jew doesn't even exist. Because they're pro-Jeffrey Epstein. They're not anti-Zionist in the sense that they, believe Israel doesn't have a right to exist. They're just against this, like, metaphysical abstraction they call the Jew. That's pretty much like a fucking leprechaun that doesn't even exist. Because the actual Jewish Zionist power that does exist, they have no problem with. And they call you crazy and schizophrenic for actually naming. So it's like, I said Epstein Empire, and it's like a garlic to a vampire for these people, because I actually named the Jew. Isn't that funny? They would say, name the Jew, name the Jew. Well, when you actually name them, instead of this abstraction, you name the actual Zionists, they have a problem with that. Suddenly they have a problem. You'd think this would be like the one thing they'd be like, no, there's no issue. This confirms our worldview. No, they do have an issue. Because they want you to be bogged down in racial, religious gibber, targeting Jews in the abstract, which means nothing, versus actual concrete structures and relationships of power. So, you know, something is for sure extremely suspicious about the social media discourse that has been pushed over the past years, which has rewired people's brains in a way that seems to line up with the outcomes strategically pursued by the U.S. regime and the CIA, which is passivity, which is incompetence, which is lack of morale, lack of moral authority. And this is the world we live in now. And everything starts with being aware of what the psyops are. Everything starts with being aware of the fact that just because you escape mainstream media doesn't mean you're free from psyops. It doesn't mean you are psychologically free. On the contrary, you're more controlled than ever. And a lot of people have not come to terms with that fact. Not yet, at least. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these super chats.
Based.
Applied, what's up, man?
Rest in peace, Khamenei.
Absolutely.
Based.
Russ and China don't want to jump to conflicts unlike USA. That's the difference. Multipolar is still on its way. It just was never easy or fast.
Based.
Reasonable, but
Class interests are still the primary force governing world history.
yes. Thank you, Amila. Appreciate that.
Based.
Amila, thank you again.
Us, did you see the Venezuelan statement that
Yeah.
didn't name the responsible party in the attack on Iran?
Yep, I did. I did, in fact, see that.
Based.
Rightful, what's up?
Imagine trying to appease fascists in 2026.
Based.
Amila, what's up?
It's all old people.
Yes. Thank you, appreciate it.
Based.
Nah, what's up?
Long
Appreciate
live
you.
Ali Khamenei and the resistance.
Yep, and they'll definitely go down in history.
Based.
Amila, what's up? Appreciate
Complete
you.
alienation from meaning.
Yep. Very true.
Based.
Marcus, what's
The
up?
ones who are willing to throw their lives away do it. BC they personally couldn't afford to buy chocolate, or BC they've personally been bullied.
Based.
Amila, what's
Complete
up?
alienation in our being with.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Amila. Thank you.
Based.
Thank you
No
again,
amount of
Amila.
time can make up for printed fake instant digital money. It's inevitable and you'll sell out, become a class collaborator. If you're authentic, you'll get unalived, like Jesus, Imam Ali.
Based.
Well, I think it doesn't have to be
Us,
so. Thank
it's
you,
true.
Amila.
People need to start learning about Lacan's theory and become self-aware. Normal people can't escape this, it's structured.
I kind of disagree. I think that. Well, I'll let these continue before I. Wow, Amila with the 100. Thank you so much.
Being towards death, into future time,
Yeah.
gorilla emoji, sun emoji, gorilla
Thank you, Amila.
emoji,
Appreciate you.
sun emoji.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Lady Midwestern.
Based.
Amila, thank you again.
The USA emoji, Israel emoji, Air
Thank you
Force
so
is
much,
active
Amila.
against Iranian border guards near Iraq. Many unalived already.
Based.
Marcus, what's up?
BQ's the end of empire can only come from within, but the stage is set. In my view, nobody's beloved's the lies of the Epstein class anymore.
Based.
Dead Ghost, thank you,
Keep
man.
up the good work, Chairman.
Based.
MIG, what's up, bro?
Much needed stream.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
based.
Red Max, what's
what
up,
should be
man?
our strategy towards the more normie Jakey?
Okay, I'll pause
I
it
see
there.
it being really popular on
There's one
Instagram.
more. And then I'm going to pause it again to kind of get into these a little. Hey, Pop, what's up, bro? Appreciate you.
Power of collective thought to right the wrongs.
All right, guys. So a few things. Someone asked me a question. What should be our approach to the normie JQ? Well, rise from the abstract to the concrete. That's kind of how I've decided. The way you combat the right wing and its obscurity and its obfuscation, just rise from the abstract to the concrete. If they're talking about Jews in the abstract, say which Jews? Go even more concrete, because when you just say the capitalists, you sound like you're, oh, well, you won't say it's the Jews, because it's their way of trying to be more concrete, right? Well, be more concrete than them. Okay, which ones? Which corporations, which banks, which financial institutions, which hegemony, Jeffrey Epstein, and so on. And then you'll see there's Jews, there's non-Jews, whatever. But never be sensitive to it. That's my approach. Never be sensitive, because guess what? Jewish people are not oppressed in 2026, okay? I would obviously condemn violence and racial attacks on any group for their religious or racial character. But we don't have to be so fucking politically correct and sensitive, okay? Frankly, okay? So that's my take, basically. Just be plain spoken and just be concrete. You don't have to be sensitive and reactive just if something is not technically entirely true. Get to the essence of the point, the concrete point, right? And then finally, Amila, I kind of disagree, because I don't think that everyone has to die like Jesus if they're authentic. I think that there was a mass movement of Bolsheviks in the past. There was a mass movement of revolutionaries in 79. There's always been mass movements of revolutionaries throughout history, the Cultural Revolution and stuff. And that's what we need to tap into and rediscover. We can't resign ourselves to the tragic story of martyred heroes who fail. We need to win. And to win, we need a mass movement of people compelled and motivated by faith and genuine belief. And straight up, who are just on some real shit. Allah, Cosmos, Xi Jinping type of shit. All right? We need that. We need that Kizilbash. We need that Mongol army. We need that movement. We need that movement. Okay? To have the movement, we need a way of communicating this shit. We need a way of making it palpable. The guerrilla army, infrared, needs to be more aggressive, okay, in propagating this shit for real. This culture that we have. Because infrared is worldwide. I mean, ACP is in America, that's our party. But infrared is a worldwide movement, right? Every country I go to, I meet infrared people in that country. And we need to get this shit rolling. Reports of missiles and drones from Lebanon toward Israel. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate you. Wow. Look, guys. I want to be clear about something, right? I will always bet against hype, because I genuinely thought in the 10-day war it's going to be World War III. I genuinely thought after October 7th World War III is going to happen. I bet against hype, and I'm kind of betting on nothing ever happening always. Something happened in Iran, and I was wrong. I was contradicted, but apocalyptic level, where it's a regional war, that would be apocalyptic. I'm not discounting that it's possible, but I will always caution against hype. Why? Because all of social media is hyping the fuck up everything. They're super hyping up that some crazy shit is about to happen, right? And that's the norm. The norm is some crazy hype. And I have to I have to overcorrect against that and be well, no. I mean, there are too many incentives that go against taking crazy decisive risks. Take, for example, Iran and Dubai. Like, is Iran like bombing the fuck out of Dubai and the Burj Khalifa? And is it like straight up an apocalypse? I'm on YouTube, so I'm kind of limited by what I can say. But I could just say,
Norway 2036
Norway,
added
what's
5
up,
to the
man?
war chest. Infrared is worldwide.
it is, absolutely. Thank you, bro. No, I'm going to be on some real shit, and I'll tell you, no. Nope. Nope, dude, it's not getting rocked. Dude, like straight up, understand that. Social media would have you believe that like thousands of people are dying in Israel right now, and it's like no, it's kind of like not, all right? Not what's going on. Temper your expectations. It hasn't escalated to that yet. I'm not sure if it will be permitted to escalate even to that point ever. So I'm going to caution against hype always. I'm going to caution against, crazy shit happening. Okay, supposedly Lebanon was a false alarm. Right, because there's so much pressure within Lebanon to restrain the Hezbollah from doing anything. Again, I'll always be on the side of caution against hype. Straight up. I am very pessimistic about what's going to happen at the end of this. But like, the reason I'm not blackpilling and despairing is because like I got my own shit, honestly. Like straight up. Like, my sense of hope in this world doesn't depend on some shit that's out of my hands. It just doesn't. I'm not a cheerleader for faraway countries, and that's all my morale and hope. No, it's not. It's not. I love Iran. I love China, Russia, DPRK, Cuba, Venezuela. But am I going to be depressed as fuck and crying and shit if everything goes south for all those countries I just mentioned? I'll be saddened, but will I give up and be demoralized forever? No. No, because I have a very specific understanding of what the mission is. I have a very specific understanding of what the mission is. And I don't think that mission can fail. If you have belief in your heart, you have conviction in your heart, the mission can't fail. Okay? I'm not promising you that everybody's got their shit together around the fucking world. I'm telling you, I'm a real motherfucker who believes in some real ass shit, who has a specific message, who has a specific cause, a specific movement, specific vision of the future, a specific accounting of the balance of justice and injustice in this world, a specific understanding of the forces in this world primed and aligned, ready and have the potential to make something of it, a specific strategy, a specific game plan, a specific guiding red star that motivates me to wake up every day in the morning. That's what I have. I don't have a guarantee that some country is going to be fine. They just took Maduro from Venezuela, okay? They took him. All the people in Venezuela that were blocking ACP, that were friendly with the bullshit people that were talking shit on ACP, accusing us of all this shit, they're now in power in Venezuela. What a big surprise that those people were promoted, by the way. And by the way, Jackson, he has never been to Iran. But you want to know who was constantly in Iran, going to Iran? These piece of shit. I don't even want to name them. These journalists who gave Iranians this false ideology, this false understanding of the West, this false morale. Jackson never went to Iran. He's never been there. And there were a lot of people in Iran who didn't want Jackson to go, by the way. I'm not saying the government hated Jackson or was blocking him entirely. I'm saying there were specific actors working really hard to like sabotage Jackson. And he never went to Iran. It's not because of that specifically necessarily, but like he straight up never went. No, I'm not talking shit on Kalla. Kalla's got nothing to do with Kalla Walsh has nothing to do with this shit. I'm talking about some older piece of shit, fucking CIA piece of shit, boo. Kalla Walsh is young, okay? Kalla Walsh might have some retarded ass views, but you know, Kalla Walsh, I would say she's kind of in the same boat as us in a lot of ways. Like, she's got some retarded views, but what can you say, you know? I kind of respect her, you know. I kind of respect Kalla Walsh. Yeah, she got her heart in the right place, but she's got no solutions for America. That's the problem, you know. She's got no solutions. Whatever. ACP was on local Austin. Hey guys, this stream, when it's over, I'm gonna be going to Kick for some real-time coverage and for some news and for some live coverage. But I'm not doing that yet. I just want to give you a heads up. When this ends, I'm gonna be going to Kick, like right after. But this stream is about this lecture that I'm trying to give, right? The specific. You and Jackson should have never pretended these guys were strong enough to compete with the USA or Israel. You know what's disgusting is that they were strong enough. I mean, logistically and strategically, they were strong enough. But what shocked us was the level of infiltration and betrayal. And the root cause of that problem is a moral and spiritual problem. If they had, I'm not even going to say that shit because it just sounds like crazy as fuck. But on some real shit, my infrared people would never be on some traitor shit. You know what I mean? Like people who are born from this movement, incorruptible army. Like my movement is an incorruptible fucking army because we have the belief. In our eyes, we have the belief. We have the fire of the cause in our eyes, in our hearts. I don't know what's going on with others. I don't know what they're waking up in the morning for. You want to talk about the multipolar world? We are about a world revolution against the Epstein Empire. And a lot of people live in a narrow world where they're narrow-minded. They don't have this comprehensive vision, you know? Like, I'm going to be real. I'm not here to like, okay, I have to be professional. I don't give a fuck, bro. I just don't care. No, I'll be real, okay? If you don't like my language and shit, it's just like, okay, you know what? Then go wear a suit and tie and fuck off. I don't give a fuck, right? I'll be real. There's a lot of retarded ass people. Can I say that on YouTube? There's a lot of retarded ass people in all these countries I just mentioned, like stupid ass boomers who are just not in with the culture on some retarded ass shit, who don't know what culture is, they don't know what social media is, that don't know what is cool, what's uncool, in the sense of like, they don't know what like a compelling message even fucking looks or sounds like. and they have some retarded, stupid shit in their own head that they got from the 1980s or something about how they understand what's on some real shit in the world. And they're like LARPing some movie they watched in like 1981 or something. And they think the world, like, that we're living in the world where people have pagers and, like, I don't know. I'm singing in the rain. Like, I don't know. They're movie characters living out their life as some, like, old head. Oh, nothing's new under the sun. All that social media stuff, it's all the same to me. It's my life. It's now or never. It's like, I'm not even talking about boomers. I'm talking about like the cringe Gen X types, right? That think they have a pulse on like what actually works, in the sense of like, what is a compelling like way to experience the world narratively, right? And they're so like dogmatic and narrow and stubbornly arrogant about their understanding of the world. And the smart ones of the older generation are like, okay, the youth understand. I don't understand. The youth I respect the hell out of them. So many understand that. There's some low-key stupid ass, they called them, Lenin used to call them Philistines. I know for a fact in Iran there's these people. They're stupid ass people. Just fucking it up for everybody because they're so out of touch. And they're not providing proper guidance to the newer generations. That's really what I'm trying to say. Like, they're not inspiring the new generations who are inflicted with a terminal nihilism that everyone in the world seems to be victimized by right now. You know, like everybody in the world is just victimized by a terminal nihilism. And these old heads have their Sony Walkman headphones on. And they're just fucking by themselves on the sidewalk. And I will walk 500 miles. Da, 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 da. And they're like on, you know, they think they know it all and got it all figured out and ain't nothing new under the sun and shit. And they have lost any kind of revolutionary conviction at all, you know? They're like actually cringe boomers. Okay, you want to know what? I'm going to like bitch and complain, or I'm going to just say like, you know who the most unforgivable cringe boomers are, or whatever, old people? They're in Russia. These are the Boris Yeltsin, like 1990s older Russians who literally sold out the USSR, who are like, you know, the fucking Papa John's commercial with Gorbachev or Pizza Hut. That's what I'm talking about. That's really like what I'm like. That's what I'm talking about. You know, the Russians that I respect the most are the ones who have like been on the front, who've been actually fighting, who've been forced and thrusted upon this like new reality, this brand new era that we're living in on the front lines. Those are some real ones, okay? Not LARPers, not bullshitters. They're real. They understand what's going on in the world, like they get it. But there are these like Boris Yeltsin, 1990s United Russia types that are like so cringe. Like so really cringe. Okay, you know what? China's the same. The pre-Xi Jinping, rich, wealthy people in China are also retarded. Who are like, represent the Deng Xiaoping liberal, not that Deng was a liberal, but a lot of libtards came out of that era who were pro-West. And those people have a very strong presence in China still. And they're straight up retarded. And Iran is the same thing. So, like, I don't look at these people as, like, the authority to me. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm sorry. You know, some of you, I don't know how many of you, like, in your heart of hearts, even some supporters of mine probably think this. They're like, Haas, I know you're taking orders from the It's like, bro, I'm not. I'm literally not. I literally am a friend to all people, freedom-loving people in the world. I love China. I love Russia, okay, on a very soulful level, okay? I will never, ever stop supporting Russia. But do I fucking take orders from anyone? No, motherfucker, because I got shit figured out. And I don't trust that anyone else really does on some real shit. Sorry. I'm here to report to you that I don't think anyone has their shit figured out. I think I have my shit figured out. I think ACP has some shit figured. But I'm not even saying we know it all. I'm saying we at least have a framework in which we can learn. We have a framework where we can learn, but like, you know, like, I don't know how to tell you this, guys. I'm all about this concept and this idea of the revolutionary dynasty, right? And there's I think not my black pill, but like my pessimistic conclusion is that the revolutionary dynasty of the Islamic Republic, it's at the end of its dynastic cycle. So look, this happened in China. Under Mao, after the Great Leap Forward, you had a lot of Soviet technocrats and, you know, technocratic educated types that were in power. And China's revolutionary dynasty since 49 came to its end. And like China was at a crossroads. The revolutionary spirit was just lost. So what Mao did is he launched the Cultural Revolution and rejuvenated China. That's why China's still around to this day. And actually, Xi Jinping is trying to do something similar, and has with his anti-corruption campaign, with his he's trying to mobilize the Chinese people in a new way, at least with the new netizen consciousness. And it's like every nation on earth who's resisting America needs that desperately, because the newer generations, the torch has not been properly passed to them. Cuba, okay? Cuba. Has the torch been passed in Cuba? No. Has the torch been passed in Venezuela? No, although there is a youth section of the PSUV, the youth there, they actually forced the government to retract that disgusting letter condemning Iran, but still, they're not in power. So we need that kind of internal thing, like a new mobilization, a new awakening. So that's what I'm about. That's what I stand for, to be clear. And I mean, honestly, I see these like fat Drew Pavlou types and these disgusting types. Oh, the multipolarists are losing. L, you're getting L. And it's like you're thinking about it the wrong way. If you're getting demoralized. Cuba might be next. Dark days ahead for those who have hope in these holdout countries. I can't have hope in them. I can't. Because I know that it's already been lost. When big tech and social media took over the world, everything changed. And all these holdout countries, DPRK might hold it out. They have nukes and they're insulated. But I'm not optimistic about any other country and haven't been for years. At least since Syria, I haven't been. And don't have high expectations in anything except revolution, because that's always on the fucking table. Okay? Powerful states come and go. The revolution is always on the menu because it's eternal. It's a revolutionary dynasty. It's a cycle that lasts forever. It comes in waves, stronger than the last. And this is a world revolution that's underway. I love China. I have hope in the competence of China. But am I betting my morale on China not fucking things up? No, I'm not. I don't know for certain if China has what it takes to survive, an attack or a provocation or the whatever. I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know. I hope. I think it's reasonable to say they probably could. But do I know? No, I don't. I'm not going to grandstand and be like, oh yeah, Russia and China are going to rock your shit. Bro, you know what that is? That's like the kid who's like, my dad can beat up your dad. Yeah, but I'm the one fighting as far as I'm seeing it, I have not moved toward anarchism. I'm not talking about eternal revolution. It's a cycle. Revolutions, bro, is retarded. Like, a revolution is a cycle. It's a circle. Revolution, you're going full circle, right? So, it's a dynastic cycle. Revolutions have a inceptual phase where they begin and they're fresh. They have a consolidation phase, and then they have a decadent phase. I'm saying we're at the tail end of the decadent phase, and we need the cycle to restart again. Am I saying that's eternal? No, it's going to have to, it'll be a cycle all over again. But we need the cycle again. We need a new one, okay? That's all I'm fucking saying. I'm going to unpause these chats. Yo, Jennifer.
Who is willing to have a fight to the death for a cause in this day and age? Who is willing to fight in another world war?
Okay, I'll pause that. A lot of people are willing to do reckless things, but what people don't have is faith in a cause that they actually believe in. That's much harder to have. See, like, it's easy to be a nihilist terrorist. It's easy for people to do that because they don't actually believe in a cause. What they believe in the same things a conformist believes in, but they just lash out in an extreme way. But do they actually have faith and hope in anything? No, they don't. And that's much harder to cultivate and discover. But thank you. I very much reject the view that people are just scared of taking radical risks. I think, no, people can take radical risks, but what they fear is a change in their worldview. They fear a change in their ideology, so to speak. I think that 99% of people would rather die than challenge their ideology. That's how fucked it is. That's what I'm... Like, I straight up think most people would rather die than have a deep confrontation with how psychologically invested they are in their specific ideological worldview. Most people would rather die than question science, what the scientists say about biology, and be open-minded about Lysenko. Most people would physically rather die than be open-minded about Lysenko, sincerely and earnestly. Fucking crazy.
Based.
Anonymous, what's up?
Be utterly honest. If you had to choose, who is worse? Regular people, not politicians, liberals or conservatives?
Conservatives. Are you fucking kidding? Conservatives are retarded. They're like cringe. Conservatives are worse. Liberals are like the chill ones now. And honestly, liberals were never that terrible. Like, for example, like Seth Rogen and Family Guy. Okay, like a Brian Griffin. Okay, Brian Griffin's like an annoying douchebag. But is he the worst? Is he? No, he's just like, okay, Brian Griffin type of liberal. You know, they have some kind of moral center. They're a little bit moderate. They're a little bit whatever. Maybe they voted for Al Gore or what the fuck, Ralph Nader even. And they're not extreme. They're just kind of whatever. And all right. Cursed for using R word, whatever, bro. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now? Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, or as I was trying to say, right? Liberals started becoming insufferable with Hillary Clinton. That's when they became the most evil, wicked, disgusting scum. Because actually, they stopped being American liberals proper, and they just started being psycho Nazis, like straight up. They just became like Hitlerites. The Hillary Clinton liberals were just straight up like Adolf Hitler people. Like that's not a Brian Griffin liberal. They became like on some straight up Hitler shit. You can't hear, really. Fuck my life. Fucking piece of shit. Yo, Ben. Okay, one's if it's good. One's if it's good. Wow, there's literally 5 people saying still not good. Ban every single one of these fucking people. They're literally just trolling. It's like a troll raid from like 5 people doing this shit. Straight up. It's like, that's why. It was like 5 people doing that shit. If it was one person, I wouldn't. It's like 5 people constantly, oh, it's still not working, it's still not working. Bruh, fuck you. Literally. Oh, it's because they're behind. I don't know, bro. There's like some stupid fucking coordination. Literally some CIA. I'm just kidding. It's not CIA. Anyway, guys, no. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah. No, I mean, look, everyone in the world is susceptible to bribery and is motivated by money. And there is an older generation of people who are selflessly devoted to their ideas or whatever. They're If few and far between now, but I'll just tell you, American Communist Party, it's a movement, it's a cause that compels and motivates people to do shit because they believe in something. And that's rare. That's all I'm saying.
Based.
Reports of missiles and drones from
All right,
Lebanon
we're kind of
towards
behind.
Israel.
What's up, Harold? Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Based.
Bro, Daniel, shut up.
Israel only strike because their intel was precise
Ignacio,
enough
what's
to know
up?
the backlash from Iran.
Nobody gives a fuck about a follow. I shut it off. It's still doing it. I don't know why.
Based.
Henry,
God
what's
bless
up?
Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran emoji. Long live the axis of resistance. Long live the ACP. Sun emoji. Gorilla
Agreed.
emoji.
Agreed.
Based.
Henry, what's up,
It
bro?
may sound crazy on its face, but there are NS opposed to U.S. imperialism who are some of the Palestinian territories emoji. Resistance's most vocal defenders. Timurnet, TRS, War Strike, Literaya. I'd love to see a dialogue.
Based.
The
Keen, what's
cultural
up?
revolutions in China and DPRK give me hope for the integrity of their fights. Something in which Venezuela, for example, lacked.
Based.
What's up? Mila, what's
Yeah.
up?
They can't confront the nothing.
Thank you, Mila. Appreciate you.
Based.
James,
Things
what's
might
up,
look
man?
dismal now in Syria and Iran, but victory is in the hand of the Lord.
You know, I'm going to comment on that. Because okay, Lalo, you're reading into shit. It's like I'm not talking about that, all right? Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about like where does it end? It's like where does it end? Is a troll? Yeah, sure. Okay, bro, I'm getting rid of Lalo. Like nobody has mod. I'm getting rid of this guy. Gotta do it myself. It's all right.
Based.
The communist logos comes to emerge out of
I'll just hide
spirit.
him from the channel. Red, what's up, bro? Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Frightful, what's up?
Based.
Join the American
Yeah,
Communist
bro was
Party.
talking about his daughter. Like, yeah, Jesus Christ. You lost the plot, bro. You lost the plot. He's like talking about a YouTube video. He's like on a YouTube live stream talking about his daughter as if I'm like talking about like someone he knows. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's another thing about the old era. This is your old era way of thinking. I have no patience for it. You're going to get us all drone striked with your old era way of thinking. Namely, these people who think that everything on the internet is personal. Meaning, if they see a guy on YouTube talking, they think it's about me. I'm the subject. It's about me, right? It's about me and my life, personally. I'm going to take it personal. I used to, on YouTube, I talk about all these, like, I used to talk about glasses wearers and all this stuff. Oh, and you're talking about me, Haas. I hate you personally. Okay. And you're just like these cattle where, like, there's someone who will look at the camera and be like, you're so important. I really like you. Like, you'll see some, like, parasocial streamer, like, look into the camera and be like, you're my best friend forever. And then you're the type that's like, yeah, you're really talking to me. It's about me, right? It's really... Yeah, that's some old era thinking. We can't have it anymore. This is the new era. You are a subjectivist. You're on some individualist subjectivism. We're the hive mind. We're on a mass consciousness type of shit. It's not personal, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You're on some old era shit. Old mother. I welcome old people, but I have no patience for the stubborn and arrogant trying to force and impose their backward stupidity on us. You know how many haters I got just because people took shit personal as if I'm talking about them? I don't even know who they are. Like, I'd be like, yeah, engineers are not proletarians. I'm an engineer. You're changing. Jesus Christ. I'd be like, academics are not the revolutionary subject. Sir, I'm an academic. How dare you? Okay, literally just go back to fucking the 80s or the 90s or wherever you're nostalgic for. Like, fuck off. You're not fit for the age we live in. Bro, there's this guy named El Godfather who's literally calling me Hitler now because I just said that. Isn't that crazy? He's literally calling me Hitler because I'm saying he's personally not the subject of social media content. That it's like a impersonal, like mass flux. It's a totally different logic of communication and culture and stuff. It's like, and he's like this like nostalgic guy from the 1980s. Or 90s, wherever the fuck this fucking millennial probably grew up in. And then watch some people like, I'm a millennial! Is this about me? Oh, is this about me? Jesus Christ, right? I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you, though. You know what I mean? I don't know you. Bro, everybody's asking me random ass questions now. It's crazy. I was a little sidetracked. I was about to say something. I was a little sidetracked. I gotta remember something. Yeah, guys. I probably should have devoted a considerable portion of this stream to talking about the Islamic Revolution and Iran and its significance. But I just feel like people's attention span is so low. It's just like hard for people to get it. But I will say this. One of the things that set Iran apart and its Islamic Revolution was that by 1979, the Cultural Revolution in China was over for a while. So from the period of 65 to 75, roughly, you had the last great communist revolutionary uprising or upsurge of sincere, genuine conviction and belief was the Cultural Revolution in China, right? And then it came to an end, and in China, they decided to basically avoid the mistakes of that decade and kind of submerge that into the subconscious, and that was that. But then, you had this world of consumerism take hold. Everyone was motivated no longer by convictions. Chew, bitch! No longer by convictions or, any higher purpose. But it's kind of like what Alexander Kojev described as the human animal, or what you're probably familiar with from Friedrich Nietzsche and The Last Man, right? Where nobody lives for anything greater than a passive consumerist existence. And Marxists, after this, there's exceptions. The great Sandinistas and others in Latin America kept fighting, but there's basically, and then the funny guy in Peru, who was a Kantian professor that started boiling babies. But, more or less, most Marxists around the world put glasses on, they wore a scarf, and sit in cafes crossing their legs. And they became, so weak and just cucked. And they just became, it went from Bolsheviks, like Stalin in the mountains of Georgia, robbing caravans and shit, and Bolsheviks in Siberia and stuff in the forest, and then Mao in the PLA, and then even Che Guevara in the Sierra Mountains in Cuba as a guerrilla fighter in Bolivia. And then after China's Cultural Revolution, around the world, Marxists just became honestly, I don't even hate him, but he is an archetype. Yanis Varoufakis types. And the DM, that's just kind of they wear the European beret, and they have glasses, and they have a scarf. And it's take Lebanon. I don't want to insult anyone, but take Lebanon. When I hear in Lebanon that someone's a Marxist or a communist, I'm typically expecting somebody who sits in cafes with their legs crossed with a scarf and glasses, and who's just I am secular. I am secular. And it's bro, it's just it's so purposeless. It's just such a weak existence. And then you go that same country, Lebanon, who actually has this truly revolutionary position, is the yellow guy, right? And there's a reason for that. Marxism, because of this specialization of mental labor, the shattering of the division of labor that I talked about before in my Rock Hill stream, it's Marxists straight up lost the ontological, even sacred dimension of the revolutionary cause, and it all became intellectualized for them, pseudo-intellectualized. It all became empty theory and speculation. No longer skin in the game, something that you truly are about some real shit for, literally willing to die for. No. Now it's just well, I'm a moderate secular, I'm a secular moderate, I believe in liberation for all. Yes, liberation. But we have to be reasonable about it. I'm the New Age Marxist. Yeah, Vijay Prashad. We have to be reasonable. Well, a New Age Marxist, and we have glasses, and I'd say, we have to be I want liberation for all. Something changed. Something fucking changed, Because you know what changed? Purpose changed. They didn't have purpose anymore. They didn't have conviction. They didn't have ontology anymore. They didn't have this is actually everything is at stake, and I'm going to live and die for this. No, they lost that, and they turned into this kind of zero skin in the game, pussy shit, right? Some Italian Marxist from the Communist Party of Italy sitting in a fucking cafe with their fucking beret on, and the human rights and that Euro communism, right? And then in 1979, okay, a guy named Ayatollah Khomeini, who was studying the mystics, Ibn Farabi or Ibn Sina, and I think Mullah Sadra, and he split from the he split from the traditional Shia Orthodox Twelverism, and he discovered this like extremely mystical revolutionary interpretation of Shia Islam. And it really, to be more serious, like the Iranian Revolution in 79 restored a sense of sacred revolutionary conviction and purpose that was very real. In a world of nihilism, Nietzschean last man consumerism, and moral and political impotence with respect to the consciousness of radicals. And so, like, that is really significant from Iran in 1979 in the Islamic Revolution. Like, for if nothing else at all, it rekindled and rediscovered a sense of sacred revolutionary purpose that wasn't just LARPing, and which stood in stark contrast to this kind of like ironic, postmodern, everything's just a joke. It's all, there's no meta narratives, nothing serious. It's all just a parody type of typical consciousness. Like, even communists after the 80s, especially after 1991, they're just like ironic communists. Can I tell you a story from Russia that like actually like ticked me off? I found me, Jackson, his girlfriend, some people, we went out. There's some place somewhere that had some food. We were pretty hungry. It was like in Moscow. Bro, what the hell is this CIA attack in my chat? Literally like a bot. Anyway, like, it was in Moscow, and it was, I forget what it was called, but we went upstairs, we sat down. On the wall right next to me, there was a painting of, it was an ironic painting of, I think it was like Dostoevsky or something, Lenin, Laika the dog with the helmet on, and Yuri Gagarin, like all as ballerinas, like with their leg up, and they're like together, like dancing. And they were in a dress, a ballerina dress, and I saw Lenin depicted this way, and I straight up like ruined my mood. I think it ruined Jackson's mood too. It was so fucking cringe, and we just left. I was like, "Fuck this," because it was like these like Muscovite libtards, like, "Oh, it's all a joke, nothing serious." And I just think that these are like the deprogrammed people. When you think about it, it's like they don't really take it seriously. They're always like making these obscene, like disgusting depictions of these revolutionary figures. Like that straight up like pissed me off. And then when I was thinking, I was like, bro, I actually am kind of like a jihadi. And it's like, this is my prophet. And this is how you're depicting them. And it's like, it actually offended me on a deep level, right? Like on some real shit. Like, yeah, like. So, I didn't like seeing that. And it was so cringe. I was just so cringed. So cringy, right? And, but like, if you think about it, like leftists and communists after 1991 became these like self-ironic, postmodern, detached types who wear glasses and are like, oh yeah, Stalin and Lenin and Mao, it's just a joke. Trots and thoughts. It's all just like this silly thing. We just gonna make fun of it. I'm like, bro. You know, I'm not saying we're humorless in that sense. Even Allah, Cosmos, Xi Jinping, like, we do have memes of Stalin and Mao. We do, but, like, we also do have limits. And also it's the specific way we use these memes that are just different. Where it's like, the history itself is not a punchline for some fucking self-ironic joke. I feel like people need, you know what it is? The modern subject needs this kind of like ironic, I don't know what I'd call it, ironic distance toward Lenin and stuff. Just because they'll get anxiety otherwise. 'Cause like, oh yeah, guys, everything's cool, right? It's all a joke. It's all chill, right? And then I'm looking at them like, no, it's not chill. We are Bolsheviks. It's some real ass shit. And like, I feel like if I was an autistic LARPer, they'd be like, oh, you're just a quirky guy who likes to wear costumes. But like, they look at me and they're like, that is the Ayatollah. They look at me and fucking get scared, bro. They're like looking at me in the eyes and they're like, that's a fucking real jihadi. And it's scary. It's like, they can't deal with it because they're like, oh shit, this guy's actually crazy. Like, being normal means like taking nothing at all. I'm not saying like to be super self-serious and shit. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like, I'm just saying like, why do you have to go out of your way to reassure yourself that everything's normal and everything's fine by putting Lenin in a tutu or whatever, right? Like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just be like, I respect Lenin. He's a sacred figure from history. He's a very meaningful, important person. And his contribution is immortal. He has all the gravity and weight of a historical prophet, even in a religion. And it's that level of meaningfulness and seriousness underlying every... I'm not saying you can't at all be light about anything. I'm just saying, like, at least under all of that, have a real, like, meaningfulness there, right? And I feel like after the 80s, Marxists stopped having that. It's all became a joke to them. And the only, but you know what is sacred to them? This is what pisses me off. You know what is sacred to them? Social democracy, voting, the environment. Like, these policy issues are sacred to them. Oh my God, did you just contradict AOC's agenda for voting in the Bronx? It's like they actually take that shit even more fanatically than I take communism. Like, that's what they actually take seriously. It's not that they treat everything as a postmodern ironic joke. It's that what they actually take seriously is their academic queer theory that they learned, or like some other shit. Fucking nonsense that they do take seriously, big time. They take seriously never using bad words ever. They take seriously queer theory, and they take seriously their NGO and their activistic bullshit waste of time career that they have, doing environmental journalism about plastic straws or some shit, right? They take that seriously. Okay, but I take Lenin seriously. How about that? Okay, how about fuck you? I take ACP and Lenin seriously, bitch. Kind of like that. Like, they take seriously, like, who's that disgusting woman? Disgusting woman. Kate Abu Ghazala, right? I'm Kate Abu Ghazala. I'm a trendy young person running for Illinois. And then she's like, literally Adolf Hitler. Did you see that shit? You know what I'm talking about? That young Democrat woman who's like straight up pro-interventionist, openly. Obviously, they're pro-Ukraine, and they want the forever war to continue in Ukraine by us continuing to arm Ukraine. They want to bomb. Ones, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need me to show you right now. Most of you know what I'm talking about. Kate Abu Ghazala or whatever. Bro, ads. I did not. How did I put ads, bro? I didn't know what the ads are coming from. You guys need to see it? Yo, bro. I don't want to fucking do this shit, bro. What the hell? Bro. I thought you guys calling my bluff. Kat Abu Ghazala. And I'm just like, it's like, I'll get in trouble if I want to say what I want to say here, but I'm just like, honestly, when foreigners and immigrants come in this country and have these positions, I become a little nativist. I'm gonna be honest. Because it's like the whole idea, Kate Abu Ghazala is so like trendy and they're so foreign and they're so like brown and whatever, and I'm like, you know what, but fuck you, honestly, for being a CIA shill, cosmopolitan piece of shit.
Let's do Cat also. You want to do this one real quick?
Yeah.
Let's do Cat. What's going on with Cat? So
Get your exclusive reporting.
So Cat is running for
19 minutes. I'm not watching this for 19 minutes. Kate Abu Ghazala, a socialist Democratic candidate, was described by her national security advisor as a firmly an interventionist who won't stop until Russia is made to pay for its crimes. Fuck you! How about that? I'm gonna be chill. Ben Mermel wrote in an email that they believe the world is better off when America takes a leading role. Support pro-democracy movements around the world from Iran to Venezuela. Support the NED. We should drop strategic ambiguity around Taiwan and counter Chinese aggression. Hold the line, fund the Ukraine war effort. Bro, this bitch. Straight up. This is the bread, like this is bread tube all over again. Yeah, I know the chat wasn't showing. Yeah, I know it wasn't showing, but it's like, what a disgusting person. What a disgusting person. And, you know, maybe you could say, oh, Haas, wasn't MAGA communism a mistake? No, because it was proven correct. MAGA is breaking with Trump over everything. And what remains that support Trump is not even really MAGA. It's just fucking Republican shills and Zionist $7,000 paid influencers. But this is why we did MAGA communism, because this is what the fucking American libtard Democrat left looked like, right? People like Kat Abu Ghazala, who claim that they're left-wing and socialist and whatever, and are like Hitler, like National Socialists, you know? And we're like, we need an overcorrection. We need like something so radically distinct to distinguish ourselves and very clearly draw a line in the sand and be like, no, we can't be associated with that.
Based.
Laybikaya Hussein, Elite Arrow 3.
Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you. I don't know how that got through on the alerts, actually. That's crazy. I didn't even unpause them. Let me see. Apparently, Israel attacked Lebanon. No way. All right. Did I read this one? Modern people are too. Why the fuck is it not playing? The modern people are too estranged. Yo, James, thank you so much for the 20. They're too estranged from society to understand how I guess it glitched. We are made in the image of God. Yeah. It was perfect to psychedelically attack. Yeah, guys, a meme speaks for itself. You don't need to explain shit. It just, if it works, it works. All right, guys, we're going to... Hold on. There's a Destiny fan in the chat. No fucking way. RAF base was hit by an Iranian drone in Cyprus. That's nice. That's good. It's nice. Some guy is spamming God is love. How do you want me to react to that? That's what I want to know. How do you want me to react to that? You want me to fucking cry and hug you? Literally get the fuck out of here. All right, we're going to go to Kick, guys. I feel like the serious part of this is kind of over. We're going to go to Kick. Kick.com/infrared. That's where we're going. We're ending it now. We're going to Kick. All right. If you want the fun to continue, I'm going to run another 5-minute intro on Kick. I'm going to grab something real quick. And we'll be back. Hold on. All right, I'll be right back. Bye-bye. We'll be on Kick in about 5 or 10 minutes.